Now in today's video we are going to be making a larger bag, and for that I'm going to be making it out of granny squares. This is a sunflower burst, very simple to make. I do recommend blocking all of your squares because it makes it a lot easier to get your straight edges and to sew them together. So the great thing about this is you can just do it in between projects when you've just got a spare 5 minutes and you just want to make up a few granny squares. So I'm going to be using the saffron. I do like saffron, it's in a cotton, it's very strong, very soft, and I've chosen yellow to be my centerpiece this time. And I have the light, I suppose it's a creamy beige, for the clusters going around, and then I edge it with single crochet to make it easy to sew together with the darker brown. And I'm going to be using a 2mm hook. You can use any wool you like, and obviously it depends on your yarn as to what hook size you want. So let's get started. Okay, to begin with, I'm going to be doing a magic circle. So if you want an in-depth on how to do a magic circle, just have a look at one of my other videos. But essentially you're making a cross, you go under your first one and pull up this second one, and then with the tail end you just bring it through. Simple as that. And I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to count as our first double crochet. Now we need to do 15 double crochets into the center of your circle. So by the time you've finished, there will be 16. So that is your first double crochet. Yarn over, pull up the yarn. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Pull through 2, yarn over again and pull through 2. It's a nice way of using up all your old yarn, little offcuts that you obviously can't make anything substantial out of. And you can do any colour scheme you like. You can do, there's 3 layers on this Sunburst, so you can do each round in a different colour. It's entirely up to you. We just keep doing our double crochets, going all the way around until you have 16. Caught up in my yarns. Let's try that again. Didn't like that one, did it? Let's do that one again. It's catching on one of the strands somewhere. That's better. Now I'm going to stop for a second and count up because I've been talking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Keep going. 12. 13. 14. 15. And this is our last one, number 16. Okay, I'm going to pull my hole closed. You don't have to pull it all the way closed yet. You can do that near the end. And this is my first chain of 3, so I'm going to go in through the top and do a slip stitch. So this is this section that we've already done in the middle. We are now going to start making these petals. So we're going to yarn over, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and we're going to go back into the gap that we've created where we've done the joining here. We're going to pull it up to your height. So that's your first one. We're going to do the 3 all together. That's second, and that's the third. And then we're going to yarn over and put it all the way through. That's our first petal. Chain 1, yarn over, and we're going to do the same thing into every gap around. So you're going to end up with 16 of these petals going around. So we're going to yarn over and go through and pick up your yarn 3 times for each petal, and then chain 1 and keep going. 1, 2, 3. So if you want to carry on going around, I'm going to meet you back here. Okay, so I've gone around, I've done 16. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Always best to check because you don't want to get any further and then have to unpick it again. I'm going to wrap the yarn around my tail end and gently pull that hole closed further. And then we are going to do a slip stitch into the top of this one here. And then we need to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And this time we are going to be doing double crochets. Now if you pull it open, you can see this is where you started. So I want to go this side of it to the right. I'm going to bring up your yarn to that height and pull through 2. So we are doing 5 double crochets through this section here. That's 2. You will end up with 6 loops on your hook when you finish because you've got the one that you started with. Just make sure I get that last chain. So now we've got 3 that we've done of double crochet because the first one is our chain of 3. 4, and this is our last one, number 5. Through 2. Oh, I've got one yarn still stuck on there. Let's get that one off. There we go. So let's double count. This is the one we started with, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through all of those, and we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Yarn over, and we're going to do the same in the next gap. So we're going to go through this section here, pull it up, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull it up, pull through. 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through all of those loops and do 2 single crochets, or chain 2, whichever you want to call it. So that's the beginning. So if you carry on going around, I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I've just finished my last petal. I'm just going to do my chain 2, 1, 2, then I'm going to join it with this top one here with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and we're going to secure the ends in. So I'm going to thread my needle and we're going to do an invisible join with this one. So it's an invisible stitch. We're going to replicate this stitch under here. So we're going to go under the next one along and then back through this one. So we have just made the same stitch but on top of the previous one. And then what I like to do is weave it under all of the work back down to the middle. Which end am I pulling on here? There we go. So it's all hidden away. And I'm going to tie these 2 together. I do not want this coming undone when you're carrying your bag around. A nice tight knot, and then you can hide this back through the center row. So I'm going to go back through this way on this one, just weave in this end so I can snip it off. And I should do this one the opposite way. So we're going to go back through this way. Just needs to be a couple to hold the tail end in. And then we can snip these off. So that is the center section. We are now going to go straight in and do the clusters around the outside. So we get whichever color yarn you've chosen to do as your next layer. You can keep it all the same color, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to tie this on initially, not taking any chances. Okay, now as you can see, these are different heights. So these ones are double crochets, these ones in the center are half doubles. So I'm starting on a half double, so I'm going to chain 2. So I just want to ping up this yarn. Oh, just trying to get the other one. There we go. Chain 2, yarn over, go back through that section, pull it up, and we're going to pull it through all 3. That's your half double crochet. So now we've got 2 on there. This is going to be our 3rd one. Put it through all 3, and I'm keeping this one hidden behind as I work, so I won't have to sew in the end. In the next section, we need to do 3 double crochets. So pull through 2, pull through 2. That was 1. We need 3 in each section. 2. And 3. Now we're going into the corner section. So again, I'm hiding this yarn behind. We're going to do 3 double crochets to begin with. That's our little cluster. And this is number 3. And then for the corner, I chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put another 3 double crochets straight back in that same section we were using. Okay. 2 and 3. Now I'm going on to my next one. This again is going to be double crochets. So we're having 3 in there. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going into a half double. We're going to all right in the center of each edge. We have your half doubles. So yarn over, pull through, and you're going to come back through all 3 for your half double. So 3 of those. 2, 3. The next section is a double crochet. And then we're going to go into another corner. So again, we have 3 double crochets in the corner. 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 3 for the corner. 1, 2, 3. Back in the same section for another 3 double crochets. The next section is a double crochet one. Didn't like that one, did it? Let's try that one again. I think it had got caught on one of my strands. Yeah, it's better. 2 and 3. Then we're going to go into our half double crochet, so all the way through 3 at the same time. 2 and 3. Along to our double crochet again. 1, 2 and 3 into the corner. 1, 2, 3, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 is your magic number. One, 2, 3. 3 double crochets in the next section. 1, 2, 3. We're back down to our half doubles in this one because it's in the center, so we go through all 3. Back up to our double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Double crochet for the corner. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3 because we're in our corner. 1, 2, 3. Back in the same section. 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochets in our next section. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to be joining it again with my invisible join. So because we haven't slip stitched, we are actually going to be making a stitch. So we're going straight into this middle one here, like so, and back through that one. And again, we feed it back down the back. And pop it through here. I'm going to go as far as this one, and I'm going to pull the other one back, and I'm going to tie a knot there to make it more secure. Then you can hide it back under those 3 double crochets. Like so, and then when you pull it, it's all hidden under there. You can snip these ends off. And there we have it. That is your granny square sunburst. Okay, I'm going to carry on now with the edging, and I'm going to pick any stitch for now. And I'm going to do a single crochet and work my way around the outside. I'll make sure I incorporate the tail end as I go round, so there's no sewing in at the end. So we're just creating these single crochets all the way around. I think that's enough of the tail for now. Let's get that back out of the way. And then when I go into my corners, if you haven't got anywhere you can come in, I go through the back loop. And again on this one. And finally on this one, because we've got 3 chains in the corner. And then work your way down the other side. So this is just going to give it a nice edge to be able to stitch them all together. So if you want to carry on working your way around, I'll meet you back here. Okay, I've just done my last single crochet, and we're going to sew this end in. Again, I've stopped before I've done the slip stitch. Didn't need to do the slip stitch this time because we're going to make that invisible stitch. So we're going in the one next to it and we're creating a stitch. There we have it. And I'm just going to feed this one back through a few stitches. Just to secure it, and then this will be hidden within your joining seam as well. Got two ends to snip off, that tail bit and that one. So that is your first of many, and now I'm going to show you how to block them. Okay, now for the blocking, if you haven't got a blocking board, it doesn't matter. You can use a piece of foam. This is just a puzzle piece put together. Or you can use the top of your ironing board. Maybe pop a towel down on the floor and pierce it through into your carpet or underlay. With this one here, we just add the pins to the corner and stretch it out. Now I've already sprayed this one with water. There are various ways you can do it. You can dip it in water and wring it out. You can steam it. Whatever you find is the easiest for you. But it's lovely once they are done because it does keep its shape. There we have it. That's for that one. And you can stack them up and make more. And I'll just show you actually on the blocking board. Let's take that one out. Please excuse my cat. Shh. She has been fed. And again, we go into the corners and you stretch it out slightly onto each one. Like so. So every time you do one, you can spray it with water, dip it in water, your preferred method, and just keep adding it on top. So we just spray it until it's nice and moist. And now for the good part. For this bag, you are going to need 66 of these granny squares. So I'm going to get on and make some more, and I will come back to you when they're already blocked, dry and ready to sew together. Now, as you can see, I have 66. I've done 11 of each colour. You can do all the same colour if you want. It doesn't matter. It's your bag, you choose. And normally I would just sew them together and then make a handle, but I'm going to show you the cheat way. So we don't have to line it. I've just picked one of these up from Hobbycraft. They're going for £1 at the moment, and it's a nice sized tote bag. And then we can decorate the handle when we get that far. So all I'm going to be doing is working out where I'm going to be placing them. Now you can fit 5 along, but it leaves half. So you're going to have half that's going to go around the corner. Doesn't matter at this point, once you're sewing them together, about the half edge, because we'll work that out on one of the seams at the end. So you've literally just got to work out roughly what colours you want to put where. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sewing a whole length together, and then we're going to put the strips together. So let's get started. So I've laid out a colour sequence. I'm literally going to have them going up in the same colours all the way around and repeat it. It's going to be easy, but you can do them random. Now I've laid out at the moment one side of the bag, which is 5, plus the one that goes half and half around the corner. But what you're actually going to be doing is you're going to be adding the other 5 from the other side as well. So you will keep that colour pattern going on. So then obviously I'll have this one here. And then we're going to go with the brown. So you're going to keep going all the way around, doubling this side up. So you're going to end up with 11 in a row. That way it does one whole width circumference of the bag. It just stops you having to keep starting and stopping and adding. And I crochet mine together. Some people sew it with a needle and thread, but when you crochet it, your wool is still on the ball. So you don't have to keep rejoining, it's all one continual piece. So I'm going to show you now how to do that. Now I'm going to be starting on this end, and what we need to do is to put face to face. So we just pop it over like that. And then I'm going to be working in these back loops here. So I'm going to start on this end one, pick up the back loop on both corners, get whichever colour yarn you want to join them together with. You're not really going to be seeing this yarn, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. And the reason I crochet mine together with a slip stitch is so that you don't have to keep putting more yarn on your needle. So I've just done a chain one there just to hold them together. So this is our back loop on this one. We're going to go in there, and the back loop on the other side is this one here. And pull the yarn through and through the one on your hook. And we're just going to do that all the way along. So we're going to go into this back one here and slip stitch it. And for using the back loops, you're not going to see it when it's joined together, because the front loops are the only ones that are going to be visible. Now you're going to want to keep this fairly tight, because if you're not using it to go over another bag, obviously you're going to want to be able to just sew it together and use it as a bag, so you don't want things falling out. So let's just show you how we're looking so far. That is how it joins. So they're neatly together. There's a little bit of a give in it, but you're not seeing any stitch work going on. So if you want to carry on, I'll meet you on the next one and show you joining to that one. Well, I've got to the end of this one. I'll bring it up a bit closer so you can see. So you can see nice join down there. There's no stitches showing, and obviously on the other side you can see the raised bump that's going to be on the inside of the bag. So all we're going to do is we're going to carry on going up the row. So we're going to pick these two up, put them face together, and obviously it's going to be fiddly for your first couple of stitches. Just pick up your back loop of that one, and we're going in the corner of the back loop of this one. Slip stitch it through. Find our next back loop, which is this one here, and that's our next one. And just work your way all along, remembering every time you pick up two more to do, you want to make sure that they're facing each other with the right sides, so that when you open them up, this is what they're going to look like, and you're not going to notice a seam. So I'll let you carry on. We're going to do the whole first row, and then I'll come back to you. Right, so I have just sewn up all the way along here with my slip stitches, and as you open them out, it's quite satisfying, isn't it? And you get a nice neat edge all the way along. So the next thing to do is do the same thing again. We're going to do it twice again. That should use up all of your squares, and then we can join the 3 lengths together. So obviously I want to carry on with my pattern going up, so just need to lay these out in the right places with all the corresponding colours. Move that one along, I'm missing a yellow, aren't I? And again with the next row up, do exactly the same. It's going up there. What am I missing? Purple, yellow. So you get the idea. Once you've got another row laid out, we can sew down the middle of those ones, and then we're just going to have 3 sections to join together. So I will let you carry on and come back to me once you have got 3 lots of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So it's 11 in each row. Right, I've got all my colours laid out now, all going the right way. The last thing I forgot to mention was, because we're at the end of that row, the first row, we are just going to do a single crochet, finish it off, but leave enough yarn so that you can sew in the ends when you need to. And then, as we did before, obviously for the next 2 rows, we're going to start one end and work all the way down. So I have sewn up my 3 sections like so, and I'm doing the colour theme where they all follow each other, but like I said, you can do random, it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to be slip stitching along to join these 3 sections together. So if you want to start one end, and I'll come back when those 3 are together. So I've sewn all my pieces together, as you can see. What's left now is to go up and down this way. We don't want to leave these gaps in it. So exactly the same way as you have been doing, we're just going to go up and down now, and I will catch up with you once we've got all of them sewn together completely. Okay, so these are all sewn together now quite nicely. This is the back side with all your ends in there. The next thing to do is to sew down the side, which will be along here and along the bottom, but remember to do it good side to good side, as you have done all the rest of them. So this is how you're going to want to position it, and then you're going to start one end and come back up to the top, and then don't cast off. We're going to do that all in one strip, and then we're going to carry on doing a border at the top. So if I let you carry on with that, I'm going to meet you back once you've got your sides and your bottom sewn together. Okay, so I have slip stitched all the way around the end, and I finished at the top here. I'm still inside out with my bag, and with my ends that have been flapping around, I just sewn them back through. Don't need to cut them off because it's going to be on the inside, unless you want to be particularly neat. The next thing is to turning in the right way. Push your corners out. So that is the basics of our bag. Now we need to make the top a lot neater, and it needs to, or it doesn't have to, obviously if you have a bag you have to work out how big you want it. So if I lay that one down there and put that at the bottom with a little bit of an overlap, as you can see I need to go quite a bit higher to meet my handles. So now what we need to do is single crochet all the way around the top until you meet the desired length for your handle. Even if you're going to do it without putting a lining in and without putting a bag inside, you still need a nice bit at the top to make it stronger for your shopping. So I'm going to start with 10 rows of single crochet around the top. So if you want to start doing that, I'll meet you back once I've done my 10th row, or you can work out how tall you want it and stop, and I'll show you how we attach it to the bag and make your handles. Okay, so I have done 10 rows around the top, and I'm just going to pop this bag in now. I have got other videos I will show you, the links to where to get them, that show you when you haven't got a bag like this, where you add your own lining without sewing, and you can have a look at those ones if you want to do them without this bag. So as you can see, it makes use of a very dull bag, and I'm going to go and show you how we're going to attach it to the inner bag to stop it flopping around. Okay, so I'm going to mark where we're going to have it, and I'm going to measure the top. So we've got 14, so at 7 I'm going to pop a stitch marker in there. Let's double check that again. 14. So we know that that is the centre. And the same on the other side. And then we want to work out where the middle between these handles are. So I'm just going to fold them back on themselves in here. Find the middle. And again, I'm going to pop stitch markers in there. I'm just going to pierce the fabric, just so that we know that the handles are going to be right in the middle. If you've got a pin, then also you can use a pin. And at the moment I can't get it through. There we go. And exactly the same on the other side. Handles together. You could always just mark it with a pen, whatever's easier for you. There we go. So now I need to match these two together and then pin it all the way around. So I'm going to be pinning, I'm going to match the bottom of this to the bottom of that one. So it's got a bit of a layer inside. So I'm going to match the bottom seam with where we started that one and pin it all the way around. If you want to carry on, I'll meet you when that's all done. Okay, so mine's all pinned into place. When you start sewing it round, you can pull it tight as you do it, so it will be even. And I finished my last row just before this handle. If you're over here, just peel it back a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off quite a length because I'm going to need to sew now. Let's take that one out. And we're going to pull this one through. And then what we're aiming to do is to go through a stitch and back up again so you can't see it. Okay, so I've threaded my needle, and what I'm going to do is I'm passing the yarn back down the back just to go where I need to start. Quite a lot of yarn here, so hopefully it won't tangle up. There we go. And we need to pierce through this layer here. So I'm going to go up and behind, and I'm going to try and keep it along this stitch line as much as possible. So we are literally just sewing backwards and forth. And what I tend to do is go through the bag and then find a nice stitch that's parallel with it. And then work your way over to the next stitch, and again push it straight back through and aim for your stitch line. So it's hardly noticeable. Obviously you won't be flicking it backwards and forwards like me, I'm just doing it so that you can see it in front of the camera. Through the bag, and then find the next stitch along. And remember to stretch it as you go. Right, so I'm going to take it through there, and then I'm going to go through the stitching in the bag, just so I know that it's all going to be straight. There we go. I want this one here. Like so. So it's quite invisible. So if you want to carry on going all the way around, I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, we've now finished our bag, sewn all the way around. It is entirely up to you whether you want to crochet around the handles or just leave it as it is. It's your bag. It's very strong, very sturdy, and I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out. Now, if you didn't want to use the bag inside, like I said earlier, this is one I've made before. This is using the Love Heart granny squares, which you'll find on my page. I'll try and put a link below, but this one is where I've made my own top and my handles, and I have lined this one with Wonder Web. So you find any lining that you want to use and measure it out, and you just iron it, so there's no sewing. The only sewing that I have done is just a few tacks up around the top. And again, I have a video on lining the bag as well. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and I'll pop another one up.